I'm unmuted. All right, here we go. Oh. Now, yep. All right, everybody. Welcome again to Guest Chef Night. A lot of excitement around this Guest Chef Night. We got birthdays, we got partners, we got reunions, we got trainees. It's all happening. And it's on the cusp of Memorial Day weekend, so there's a lot of high energy. So I want to thank everybody for being here this evening and participating. Before we begin, I do have to start off by saying that we are happily and proudly sponsored tonight, the event, by our friends and partners at Iberia Bank and First Horizon. So we want to thank them for not just sponsoring, but they're actually on the call tonight, participating, and actually being here for tonight's event. So for those of you that bought a ticket and know what's happening tonight, we are being blessed by the presence of Executive Chef Meg Bickford of Commander's Palace. Chef. Hi, everybody. Tonight, she will also be sued by a very special guest, our very own Chef Deborah Wells. Hi, everybody. Today, we have been referring to Chef as the birthday girl because it is her birthday today as well. So we're excited about Chef being here. And we also, as per what we always do with Guest Chef Night, we're highlighting a student tonight, a trainee and a graduate. Hi. There you go. And we have Carter also today helping out. So we got a full house. And I also have Akila on our AV tonight to help us out with the technology of everything happening this evening. So everybody buckle in because it's going to be an exciting time as we walk through what's happening with Shrimp Creole this evening. I also want to give another special shout out to someone I love very much. My mother is on this phone, one of my supporting this evening. Hi, Mom. Never get too old to show love to you, Mom. And with that, I will pass it on to our chefs this evening to talk a little bit about tonight's event, the menu, and what you can expect. Again, with this opportunity, you guys do have the chat menu available to you. So at any point in tonight's demonstration, we may be going a little bit too quickly. You have questions. You're not quite sure if something's turning out the way it should be. That's why we have a master chef in-house. Meg Bickford, Executive Chef Meg Bickford, is also the first woman to hold the position of Executive Chef at Commander's Palace. So we're just really excited to have her here this evening, and she's also a really good friend of our birthday girl today. So with that, I'm going to turn it over to the two master chefs to talk a little bit about tonight's event, the menu, and then I think we'll get right into it. Chef?
Hi, everybody. How are y'all doing? I wanted to thank all of you for inviting us into your homes this evening, and we're very excited to be cooking along with you guys. I would like to ask, please use the chat if we need to slow down at any point, or if anybody needs any further clarification on what we're doing. Please don't hesitate to use that tool so that we can all be cooking together and do a really nice dinner together. So let's talk a little bit about what we will be cooking tonight. So we are going to be doing a really nice salad. It's the beginning of Creole tomato season, so we were really excited to highlight some Creole tomatoes. Got some fresh cucumber, a little bit of shaved shallots, and we're going to be doing some toasted croutons over bib lettuce with an avocado green goddess dressing. So it'll be a nice fresh salad for this beautiful hot day we've had today. For our entree, we're going to be doing Shrimp Creole. So Shrimp Creole is a quintessential New Orleans dish. We're right in the beginning of shrimp season here in Louisiana, so I thought that it would be very awesome for us to have some great fresh shrimp, really kick the season off right. Shrimp Creole is essentially very seasoned stewed tomatoes and lightly poached shrimp. We're going to cook it over popcorn rice tonight. It's a very simple dish, but really, really accompanies a lot of what New Orleans cuisine is all about. So I think we'll get started. So I think one of the things that will take the longest this evening will be our rice. So we're going to go ahead and get that started first. So we've got a small sauce pot on the stove, and I have another one with about 1.5 cups of water in it. We're going to let that water get warm so that after we toast our rice, we're going to add the warm water on top of it, and it'll speed up that process a little bit. I'm going to turn this back burner. Turn that on. Okay, so you're going to help me with this. I'm going to chop up 1/4 of an onion. Just a little bit. I'm going to cut it pretty small. We're just using this onion to season our rice. So not pretty small, so it just kind of disappears as we cook it. We're going to start our pot with a few tablespoons of butter. We'll do 1 tablespoon to start, and then we're going to add more in just a minute. Do you mind putting the onions in this pot for me? There you go. Awesome. We're just sweating our onions so that can become nice and fragrant. And I'm going to grab another tablespoon of butter to add into there. And right on top of that, we're going to put our rice. We'll wrap our rice.
So what does it make you sweat your onions?
So we're trying not to caramelize them, right? So we don't want them to turn brown. We're not trying to cook them too much. We're sweating them. We're allowing them to kind of melt, if you will. So medium low heat. Just kind of letting them release their flavor, become really fragrant. So we're frying our rice a little bit. So what this is doing is it's opening up the rice. It's going to kind of become a little opaque. You should start to smell that popcorn flavor we were talking about. So we're just kind of toasting our rice a little bit in the butter. So we have our butter, our onions, and our rice. And we're cooking that kind of like we're frying the rice a little bit. And we just want the rice to become nice and fragrant. You'll start to smell it smells a little bit like popcorn. The rice is going to become a little opaque. So we're trying not to brown the rice too much because we don't want it to not accept the water that we're about to add. So we're going to add a little salt and pepper. And then our 1.5 cups of warm water right on top. Salt. So what we're doing here is we're just going to cover the rice with plastic, or if you have a tight-fitting lid, we're going to cover the rice so that it just steams the rest of the way. Now we're going to leave it, we're going to put it back on the stove, but our burner is going to be off so it doesn't continue to overcook. It just traps that heat that's already in after our water has come to a boil, and our rice should just fluff perfectly for about 20 minutes. So now that that is done, we're going to start our Shrimp Creole. So we've got a nice hard skillet on the stove. We're going to start this with about 1 stick of butter. Okay? Because everything good should start with butter, right? We add a stick of butter right into that pan for me. Perfect, thank you. All right, we're going to crank that up to high heat. We're going to let our butter melt. After our butter, we've got our Trinity cut right here. So I've got diced onions, green bell peppers, celery, and some fresh garlic. This is all going to go into our hot butter, and we're going to fry this a little bit, and then we're going to add flour to it, kind of start a roux in our pot. Those our butter is melting, and we've got our rice going. Good, good. Go ahead and add those guys in there.
They said that you can't use what can you substitute?
You can absolutely use cooking oil if that's what you prefer. I would be careful with olive oil, but you can definitely use it. Avocado oil or grapeseed oil would be perfectly fine. You just want something with a high smoke point. All right, so we've got our onions, our green bell peppers, our celery. About half of that garlic. You want it to be pretty small. If you do larger pieces, at least make them thin. So you could julienne your onion and bell peppers so you have more vegetables in the finished product. I like to dice mine small just so everything kind of cooks. The tomatoes are the same size. Everything kind of cooks pretty evenly. All right, so classic to Shrimp Creole. We are going to season this pretty generously. So we have salt, black pepper, Creole seasoning, cayenne, and paprika, which are all very classic seasonings for this dish. So I'm not doing too much to begin with because here we're trying to really build flavors. So I'm adding probably a teaspoon of each ingredient because we can always add more later, but we can't take away. So that is salt, black pepper, our Creole seasoning, cayenne, and paprika. All right, starting to smell good in here. Yes, it is. So the reason we used so much butter at the beginning of this cooking process is because we are going to now add flour to it. So the point of that is we're kind of doing a reverse roux. So we've let our vegetables cook down a little bit. Now we're going to add a little bit of flour to that, and the flour is going to absorb all of that excess fat, and we're going to start to make a little bit of a blonde roux here. So Miss D is just sprinkling in the flour. And you just want to gently stir as this is happening. Like I said, the fat will start to absorb the flour. Yeah. So now we're going to go in with tomato paste. So again, just like the flour, as we were kind of frying the oil and the flour together to make a little bit of a roux, we're going to do the same thing here with the tomato paste. Excuse me. We're going to do the same thing here with the tomato paste. We're going to add the tomato paste and let it fry on the fat a little bit. Really, really going to expel a lot of that flavor as the tomato starts to caramelize. All right, now to the pan, we are going to add our diced tomatoes and one of the bay leaves. I hope everybody's house is smelling as good as it is smelling in here. 2 cups, and we'll go from there.
Robin had to speak louder. Melanie Craig says the sound is not good.
Apologies, bear with us. We're working on the sound quality right now. We're checking the volume.
That's a good suggestion, Melanie. Thank you.
We made an adjustment to the audio visual. Let us know if there's any difference in the volume quality. Does that sound better? Perfect.
Yeah, that's good.
Thank you. There was an issue, sorry, with the buffering of our Wi-Fi. It should be corrected by now. Thank you.
Okay, everybody, welcome back. I'm sorry about the technical difficulties. I'm just going to recap kind of where we are to make sure that we're all on the same page. So here we have in our pan, we have about a stick of butter. We have used that. Sorry. Okay. We have about a stick of butter in our pan. We put in our onions, our celery, and our green bell pepper, all diced. We sweat our trinity together with a little bit of garlic, about 2 cloves worth of garlic. Okay. Into that, we added our all-purpose flour to start making a roux as the excess fat and the flour mix together. So we sprinkled our flour over our vegetables after they were translucent. We made our roux with that. Then we added our tomato paste. We allowed the tomato paste to kind of fry to really start expressing a lot of that flavor and a really, really great smell. And the tomato paste will start to caramelize a little bit and maybe stick to the bottom of your pan a little bit. That is okay. Okay, so into that, we added our diced tomatoes and a bay leaf. We let that cook down, and the liquid from the diced tomatoes will mix with the tomato paste and make a really nice, creamy, but thick tomato and vegetable mix. Into that, we added seafood stock. So that's when everything really turns more into a stew. So the flour will start cooking as soon as you add the seafood stock into really thickening the seafood stock and making a nice stew. So that's what we have on the stove now. We're going to let that simmer for a little bit because we do want it to thicken. We want to give the flour an opportunity to cook all the way through. We're going to move on to some of our salad preparation. But our next step for the Shrimp Creole, we will add some more seasoning. We're going to add some hot sauce, Worcestershire. As we taste it, we'll adjust the seasoning of our paprika and cayenne and salt and pepper and make sure that it's where we want it to be and it's nice and rich and very highly seasoned. Then into that, we are going to add our shrimp. We're going to allow the shrimp to just poach in the sauce. It's going to be at a low simmer, and so the shrimp will just really gently cook in our sauce and absorb a lot of that really, really great flavor that we're looking for, okay? So while our sauce is cooking, we're going to make the dressing, our avocado green goddess dressing for our salad, okay? You're going to help me with this, okay? Okay. We hand me the top of that blender. So we are going to make this in the blender. So in the bottom of, I'm sorry, that was bad. In the bottom of the blender, we have about 3/4 of a cup of water. Twist it. Perfect. So we have about 3/4 of a cup of water in the bottom of the blender. I'm going to take half of this avocado. So I have one side without a seed. That's the side I'm going to use. If I did want to use this side, a trick to get the pod out would be to gently push the blade of my knife into the seed and just gently turn, and it'll pop right out. Please be very careful when you're doing that. So I'm just going to use a spoon, and I'm going to scoop this avocado right out of the shell. And that's a beautiful looking avocado. All right. To that, we're going to add a little bit of olive oil, about 2 tablespoons. We're going to add some agave for some sweetness, again about 2 tablespoons. A little bit of rice wine vinegar. Got about a 1/2 clove of garlic we're going to throw in. Squeeze in some lime. Salt, black pepper, some parsley, and this you can just pull right off the leaves. It doesn't have to be chopped too pretty. Green onions. And I'm just going to rip some basil leaves right into here as well. All right, and then we're going to blend all of this up in the blender. I just did a whole lot of things in here, so I'm going to give everybody a second to make sure we're all ready for this next step. But Dee, I do want to ask you about what's going on here at Liberty Kitchen. What have you guys been working on?
We have 2 groups going right now. One, in the camera?
Hi, everybody.
We have 2 groups going on right now. One group is on externship, which means they are doing some on-the-job training with some of our culinary partners and other partners. And we have an in-house group that is in their 2nd week. Well, just completed their 2nd week of culinary, which is exciting because as a culmination to that, they conducted our cohort cycle of the LK Community Cook-Off. So they just did about 60 meals today, where they were able to fill 3 of the community fridges throughout New Orleans.
Should I speak on behalf of me?
Please do. Oh wait, I'm sorry. One more thing though. I just wanted to say hello to Sarah and to Pastor Sarah and also to Ashley Hope. Thank you guys so much for supporting this and for being on here. I know some of my other Scapsy family is on here. I just haven't seen them yet, but wherever you are, thank you. Oh, the seafood base is 1 teaspoon of base for every 8 ounces of water.
So we added about 2.5 cups of stock. We added about 2.5 cups.
So you're going to do 2.5 teaspoons. Yes, you're going to do 2.5 teaspoons of the base.
So in our blender for our salad dressing, We'll go over one more time everything that we put in here. Like I said, it was a lot of things. So we put in half of a fresh avocado. We cut open and squeezed in the contents of 1 lime. We added about 2 tablespoons of olive oil. We put about 2 tablespoons of agave nectar for a little sweetness. And we did about 2 tablespoons of rice wine vinegar. We started our blender with about 3/4 a cup of water as well. So that ensures that we have enough moisture to really get everything pureed together. We added some fresh parsley, green onions, and basil leaves. About 1/2 of a clove of garlic. Okay. All right, so now we are going to put this blender on the blender, and we are going to puree it all together.
Thank you.
Ma'am, puree that for me. All right, now that our dressing is made, it's nice and pureed. As you can see, we're going back just to stir our shrimp creole sauce, make sure it's not sticking on the bottom. But again, we want this to just simmer and reduce and do its thing. We're going to check the seasoning on that. So everybody grab a spoon. I think ours is off to a really great start. I'm just going to add a touch more salt. I'm going to add some Worcestershire and some hot sauce. To me, these paprika, cayenne, Worcestershire, and hot sauce are like 4 main ingredients for this dish. Really, really makes the dish what it is. So a splash of hot sauce is probably 2 tablespoons worth. And about 5 dashes, about 2 tablespoons of Worcestershire and about 5 dashes of hot sauce. Again, we added our paprika and cayenne, which is going to add some heat to the dish, so don't go crazy on the hot sauce without tasting it. So we're going to let that cook for a little bit. We are going to make the croutons for our salad. So Dee, if you can turn that pan on for me, we're going to have another saute pan on the stove. I turn it to medium heat. We're going to take the bread that you got in your package. We're also going to use 1 clove of garlic. So with our bread, we're going to cut it into large cubes, and these don't have to be pretty because they're going to taste great. So nice croutons. we're going to toast these on the stove with butter and garlic. Now we have our 1 clove of garlic. I'm actually just going to smash this garlic. So I'm going to put my blade of my knife over the garlic clove. This is the dull side of the blade, okay? I'm going to rest my hand right here and very gently just press down on it, okay? Very carefully. And all I'm doing is smashing the garlic clove open. So the larger the piece of garlic, actually the more mild it is. So if we were to dice this up, it would be very strong flavor. But we want it to be nice and mild. It's just going to toast in the butter as we toast our bread. Give it a really, really nice, mild garlic flavor. So we'll slow down and we'll let everybody catch up. So I've diced my bread and I've smashed my garlic. I have a saute pan on the stove. In a minute, we will melt butter and toast our garlic clove and our croutons on the stove together. And we will season those with a little bit of salt and pepper. So I'm incredibly honored to be here at Liberty Kitchen. Been here a few times before, but never in a capacity like this. So it's really, really lovely to get an invitation to be able to do this event. Dee Wells and I have worked together for a few years. I had the pleasure of working with her at Commander's Palace. And Dee's just an incredible woman. And when we closed down during the pandemic in the very beginning, Dee was working with us, and unfortunately the restaurant stopped operating. And when I called Dee and begged her to come back to Commander's, she told me about the opportunity that she had here at Liberty Kitchen. And I was just overjoyed because I think this is absolutely a wonderful place for her. And she is such a teaching heart and so caring and wonderful. And these are the kind of people that need to be in Liberty Kitchen to fulfill the mission, the wonderful mission that these people are doing here. And it's just really incredible. I'm just incredibly proud of her and very excited, like I said, to be a part of this and the many things that we will do together in the future.
Thank you so much.
Absolutely, I mean it. Okay, well, let's make some croutons. All right, so we're going to start, we'll do about 2 tablespoons of butter in our saute pan. So we have our butter melted in our saute pan. I'm going to add our crushed clove of garlic. We're just going to kind of let that do its thing. Our bread is going to go right into this pan. So the bread's going to soak up all that toasted butter and garlic clove. I'm going to season those just gently with salt and pepper. We'll go back. You want to add this for me? I just want to check on everybody and see how y'all are doing. Is anybody having any problems? Can I go over or repeat anything for you? I'd love if y'all could show us what y'all are up to. Renee, it looks like your shrimp creole is coming along really nicely. That looks beautiful. All right. Everybody's croutons are getting crispy. Absolutely. So for our salad dressing, in the blender, we did half of an avocado, about 3/4 of a cup of water, did about 2 tablespoons of each. We did olive oil, agave, rice wine vinegar. We did salt, some parsley, green onions, and basil. And again, that parsley, green onions, and basil, they don't need to be chopped pretty. It's all going to go straight into the blender. So all that stuff can just be piled into the blender and pureed together. So we've got avocado, about 3/4 of a cup of water, 2 tablespoons of olive oil, 2 tablespoons of agave nectar, about 2 tablespoons of rice wine vinegar, a little salt, parsley, green onions, basil. We put about a half a clove of garlic and a squeeze of a lime. So nice fresh lime juice in there to brighten it all up. All right. Our croutons are looking good. Don't be afraid to let them get brown. The whole point is to toast them in all of that butter. And your butter will possibly start to brown as well. That's great. That's this beautiful nutty flavor. They're going to come out fantastic.
Little hectic over here. Having a great time.
So Ms. D said our croutons were getting a little dry, so she asked for a little bit more butter. So we put about another tablespoon of butter in there just so she could continue to toast all sides of the croutons. And as she's doing so, she's just turning with a spoon to make sure that they get nice, evenly coated and crispy on all sides.
This is delicious. How long does this last for?
The salad dressing?
Yes, ma'am. Another question that just came in.
That was hot. The avocado salad dressing should last about 2 days in the refrigerator. Because of the avocado, it will start to oxidize kind of quickly. So it's not something that can necessarily leave around for too long. But the amount of lime juice and rice wine vinegar that's in the dressing will help preserve it. So 2 days probably might start to turn brown, but just keep tasting it. As long as it tastes good, I wouldn't go past 4 days with it. But as long as it's tasting good, it might just be the oxidation of the avocado. But I'm glad that y'all are enjoying it so far. Yeah, of course. Absolutely.
I'm sorry.
Get on camera.
Yes, I am.
Absolutely.
So just checking in. Cooking can be a little hectic, but I think that's part of what makes it fun. Again, it's going to remind everybody if we need to back up, if we need to slow down, if you want to show your baby off. See a lot of people at home with families and little ones cooking this evening. That's what this whole experience is about, guys. We want to make sure you're still enjoying it. We don't want to go too fast. We want to make sure everybody has a beautiful dish when we're done. So if you want us to repeat anything or we need to go back over certain steps, by all means, hit us up in the chat. We'll make those adjustments because, again, we want to make sure everybody enjoys tonight's event. I do want to take this opportunity while some of you are prepping and trying to catch up and cutting and dicing where you may need to. I want to highlight our graduate that we have with us this evening, one of them. I'm going to let her introduce herself and tell you a little bit about her experience in the program and what you guys have helped to support through your contribution of a ticket sale this evening. So with that, I turn the stage over to you, man. Come straight up to the camera.
Hi, you guys. My name is Larianne. I'm a graduate. I graduated April 30th of 2021. Liberty's Kitchen has took me on quite an adventure. Hold on, let me fix myself. I can't be on the camera. Let me turn away. Anyway, y'all can see me. Oh, and also I'm pregnant with twins, so I took my children on that journey with me as well. Liberty's Kitchen has taught me a lot. I never thought I would be in a kitchen cooking as a chef. I never thought I would get my certificate as a chef. It's a lot. They taught me professionalism. They taught me credit. They taught me how to housing. It's a lot of things that you learn from just one staff, and I never thought I would be able to learn so much from the staff. They also taught me that cooking is a career. It's not just a job; it's a career. You can take it so far. Never stop yourself. Never limit yourself on what you can do. They also taught me that as well. Chef D, that's Mama D to me. She taught me so much. I used to get aggravated, but she took her time with me. CEO Dennis, he's I love him as a male figure in my life. They took their time out, like I said, with me. We'll see how far we go from here. I mean, I'm only introducing myself, and I'm letting you all know who I am, and we're gonna go. Probably, hopefully, this is not the only occasion y'all see me on. Y'all see me so much more.
So that's what this evening is about. It's not just about the food. Obviously, food is a staple. It's a big deal in New Orleans. That's why we come together and we do so much around it. But really, we don't want to miss the family aspect of cooking and fun. Yes, we have a renowned professional chef representing a very renowned establishment in the city of New Orleans. But at the base of it, it's just cooking. It's family. It's fun. It's love. It's joy. And we try to incorporate all those things, not just in the food, but in the training and how we approach this work. So many of our young people that come to these programs are challenged by so much more than just the basics of needing a job. Yes, opportunities to employment can lead to pathways of self-sustainability, but we all know that our young adults face so many more challenges due to the breakdowns of other systems around them. They need support in housing, childcare, education around finance and ownership. You just heard the young lady say we don't just talk about opportunities to be a cook or a dishwasher. We talk about food as an opportunity for careers and business. Chef D has done an amazing job broadening the scope of our young people's minds around just what they know in their houses as what cooking is, and looking at food as an invitation or a gateway to pathways for opportunities beyond anything they could ever imagine. So that's what you guys tonight have participated in with just this demonstration. Your ticket prices, your sales, your donations, all of your support goes back to help your lovely chef here this evening. Keela, who's here tonight helping us with audio visual. Carter, who's making sure we get clean dishes every time we show a shot in the photo, and making sure that we're cleaning up behind ourselves and staying as clean as possible for you guys. It's all a family. We say a lot in Liberty's Kitchen, it takes a village to raise a child, and that's true. And tonight we just want to welcome you guys to being part of our village. And with that, that's my disclaimer of what we do here at Liberty Kitchen. And we'll go back to the cooking. We do have a question here. Are shrimp supposed to have been added already?
Not yet. That's our next step.
Next step.
All right.
Shrimp on the way.
Shrimp on the way. Okay, so now we have our shrimp creole sauce has been simmering for a while now. So I think ours is really nicely flavored. Please, guys, taste your sauce. Adjust what you think it needs adjusting. If that is...
Have you already used sugar cane or the shallots?
We have not used sugarcane vinegar or the shallots yet. I like it. Y'all are doing good. Okay, so yeah, that's right. So we have our shrimp creole sauce. Ours is tasting really good. Our sauce is getting nice and thick. So now we are going to add our shrimp. Just a reminder what we used to season the shrimp creole sauce, in case anyone wants to adjust the seasoning. We have salt, black pepper, cayenne, paprika, Creole seasoning, hot sauce, and Worcestershire. So if you feel like you need adjustments made there, go ahead and make them. So we have our beautiful shrimp here. Like I said, it's the beginning of shrimp season. So ours we have peeled and deveined. I left the head on and the tail on of these shrimp. So the reason we're using head on shrimp and the reason that I left the head on is because this is going to add so much flavor to our shrimp creole sauce. We're actually going to add these shrimp to the sauce and allow them to simmer and kind of poach in the sauce. The heads are really going to release a lot of fat and flavor into our sauce, and it's going to take it to a whole nother level. So, yeah, absolutely.
So go over again what you did with the shrimp.
So I left the head and the tail on the shrimp, but I removed the shell that was on the body of the shrimp. I also took out the vein that runs on the back of the shrimp, and I just gently slit my knife down the back of the shrimp and used my knife blade to pull that vein right out. I would absolutely love to. So before we add our shrimp, I will and you guys got very lucky. There is a big old pile of shrimp in your package. I'm going to use about 14 shrimp to put into our pan. If you want to use all 2 pounds, please feel free to do so. Sorry, I'm not talking while I'm doing this. I'll do another one. All right, so we have our shrimp, head and tail, and shell on. So I like to pinch where the legs are. I pinch that and just kind of pull that shell off. And I work my way down the shrimp, pulling at the legs. And just pulling that shell away from the shrimp. Being careful to remove all the little legs. And then the next step, I'm deveining the shrimp, which is a preference. You don't have to do it, but I like to. Just taking a knife, a smaller knife preferably, and just very gently cut into the shrimp and pull all the way down the back. If you can see, I didn't cut very deep into the shrimp, and that little black line is what I'm trying to remove. Just like that. I'm going to cut down the back of the shrimp. Just pull that vein right out. I'll do that a few more times so you guys can see. And you do need to be gentle. We are using head-on shrimp. And if you guys don't want the heads, please, all you have to do is pop them off. I prefer to use them just because of the flavor, but not everybody likes that. I'm going to pinch again at the legs and and just peel the shell. So I'm using 14. Depends on how many people you're feeding. But these are some really beautiful sized shrimp. I'll show one more. So I'm going to pinch right at the legs. Peel back.
How we doing out there, everybody? Keeping up?
And then again with my knife, not too deep.
I see some thumbs up. I think the people are learning some new shrimp peeling techniques tonight.
And then just pull that little vein out. All right. Okay, not a problem. I'm going to wash my hands. So I'll give everybody a few minutes to get their shrimp prepped. By now, everybody's rice should be ready. So if you'll uncover your rice, if you have a fork handy, just kind of give it a nice good fluff. One of my all-time favorite smells is fresh cooked rice. All right, so now we are going to add our shrimp to our Creole sauce. Slide my shrimp right in there. We're just going to gently stir these right in. We're going to cover them with the sauce, give them So we're being very gentle as we add our shrimp to the sauce, because we don't necessarily want all of our heads to pop off. So we want to just kind of submerge them in the sauce a little bit, rearrange them neatly so that they're covered in sauce. We might turn up our burner a little bit so we've got a nice simmer.
What do you want to buy popcorn rice?
Sorry.
What do you want to buy popcorn rice?
Popcorn rice in Louisiana is relatively easy to find. It's in most grocery stores. Whole Foods should carry it. Rouse's should carry it. There's a few different brands. One of my favorite brands is Jasmine rice. But Louisiana popcorn rice is Creole Cajun rice is a great brand of popcorn rice. But there are quite a few different brands of Louisiana popcorn rice in our local grocery stores. But it is one of my favorites. It's an incredibly fragrant rice, really nice and fluffy. It's great for, what we're doing here. We're going to serve it with our Shrimp Creole. It's great in gumbo. It is fantastic to make boudin with. It's a really versatile, really wonderful rice.
What's a good substitute for popcorn rice?
A good substitute for popcorn rice, again, another local rice would be, like I just said, jasmine rice by mistake. But jasmine rice is a fantastic substitute for popcorn rice. It is, again, very fragrant, yet mild enough that it really complements a lot of dishes very well. Our Creole sauce is very seasoned. It's very highly seasoned. So we did not add extra seasoning to our shrimp before we added them to the sauce. As they cook in the sauce, they're really going to absorb a lot of that flavor. If you would like to add Creole seasoning to your shrimp, please feel free to. Just realize that you're adding more seasoning to your sauce when you do so. Fantastic. So Christy is saying that she peeled her shrimp ahead of time, put her shrimp shells in the freezer, and then wrapped them in a cheesecloth and dropped the cheesecloth into her Shrimp Creole sauce to really basically enrichen her sauce with those shrimp shells. So she kind of fortified her shrimp stock that way. That's a fantastic note, Christy. Thank you.
Extra credit.
All right, so now that our shrimp are simmering, they'll just take a few minutes. We want to let them cook until they're nice and pink. We are going to turn the burner down just a little bit, and we're going to start the preparation on our salad. Once we make our salad, then we will go ahead and plate our Shrimp Creole. So to start our salad, I'm going to back up and I'll do some knife work with you guys so that we're all doing it together. So I have a small mixing bowl here that I'm going to put all of my salad ingredients into. I have a shallot that we're going to peel together. So a shallot looks just like a small onion, okay? So we are going to start, we're going to cut the top off, and we're going to cut the bottom off right at the root. We're going to peel the skin.
A red onion.
It's very similar to a red onion. It's a little bit more mild. So I cut our shallot in half, and I'm going to hold the shallot to where I'm going with the grain. And I'm going to do what we call a julienne. So I'm going to cut long strips as thin as I can. And that's going to go into our salad bowl. All right, after our shallot, so in this salad, let's recap that. So we've got our shallot, I have a Creole tomato, and I have a cucumber. So those are the three things that we're going to be cutting up to go into our salad. And we have our lettuce, we'll deal with that in just a second. We've already made our salad dressing. Our croutons should be off, but on the stove, nice and crispy. All of that will go together. And we'll need 2 bowls for this salad. So we have our cucumber. I cut the end off. I just cut our cucumber right in half. So I'm going to de-seed this cucumber, and this is strictly based on preference. You definitely do not have to do this. I'm going to use, just to not have seeds in the salad, it just adds a lot of extra moisture. I'm going to use my spoon and just scrape the seeds right out, just like that.
How we doing out there, ladies and gentlemen? Everybody keeping up? Everybody here is okay? I'm seeing thumbs up. All right.
Okay, with our de-seeded cucumber, I'm gonna now quarter what we have. And I'm gonna cut these into oblique. Again, this is a preference. If you wanna slice them, you can dice them however you want, but I kinda like my cucumber, especially for this salad, a little chunky. So I'm just kind of, oblique is what it's called, but I'm kind of cutting at an angle and then coming back, squaring off that angle, cutting at an angle. So I kind of have these odd shaped little triangles. To me, this just gives the salad more texture, more chunk. I like a lot of crunch when I'm eating a tomato and cucumber salad. I feel like they need to be the stars of the show. I'm going to add my cucumbers to the bowl with our shallots. There's nothing in the bowl, just shallots and cucumber. Yep, no dressing yet. So I have a beautiful tomato here. I'm just going to cut the core out. Just going to very gently with the tip of my knife. Just kind of go in, turn the tomato, keeping my knife still, sawing up and down, turning the tomato. Just going to remove that center core. Then with the tomato, again, you can cut it however you prefer. I like chunky for this salad, so I'm going to cut my tomato in half. Then I'm going to cut it in half this way. And again, kind of diagonal cuts back and forth. Make nice big chunks. You get a nice big bite of cucumber, a nice big bite of tomato. It's the real stars of this salad. Yeah, shrimp Creole sauce should be turned down to a very, very low simmer. We don't want to overcook our shrimp, but we do want to make sure that our sauce is staying nice and hot. All right, so here in our mixing bowl, we have our tomato, cucumber, and shallot. Now this is when our sugar cane vinegar is going to come in. We're going to use some lemon, basil, and just a little bit of our chopped garlic that we have left over from when we started our shrimp Creole. Just a tiny little bit of chopped garlic. A little bit of fresh lemon juice. A few good dashes of sugar cane vinegar. This is one of my favorite vinegars. I use it in almost everything. Season our tomatoes and cucumber with salt and pepper. And then I'm just going to rip some of these basil leaves off of the stem. I'm going to layer all my leaves together and just kind of fold them up into a little package. This is going to help me slice them a lot easier, so I'm not fighting with them. I'm going to go through, this is called a chiffonade. I'm just cutting them as thin as I can again.
We also know everybody's not going to be that fast.
And that's going to go into our salad bowl. So just to recap, in our bowl, we have our peeled and sliced shallot. We have our de-seeded cucumber, We have our large diced Creole tomatoes. We did some salt, black pepper, fresh basil, lemon juice, and sugar cane vinegar. We're going to toss all of this together.
Gotcha.
I'm going to add a little bit more salt to mine. And I'm going to add a little bit more sugar cane vinegar. Y'all, please taste as we go. It's your dinner. I want you to enjoy it. All right. So we have this part of the salad built. So we have one more part of our salad to put together, and that is going to be with our avocado green goddess dressing, our lettuce, and our croutons. So let's gather those 3 ingredients and another mixing bowl, and then we will plate our salad. Yeah, thank you. And put those there. You good? Okay, you want to help me do the lettuce? Awesome. So with our butter lettuce, we are going to cut right down the center of the head. And then let's do that one more time. This way. So we're quartering our head of lettuce, and we're just going to cut the little bit of root out. You can go up higher. Yep, perfect. So we have our lettuce quartered. This is half of the head. The other half of the head we cut again in half. And we just removed that root that's right here on the head of lettuce. It's very, very bitter, and it's not going to do anything for your salad. So let's get that out of there. So with half of our head of lettuce, we're going to take our knife, and we're going to just cut probably 3 or 4 times down the length of the lettuce. So we've got nice big pieces of lettuce. Perfect. Perfect. And maybe one more time up top. Fantastic. So we're going to put this lettuce into our second mixing bowl. Perfect. Thank you. All right, our croutons are going to go in next. Right into the bowl. And this is where our green goddess lettuce is going to, green goddess dressing is going to come in, and we're going to dress our lettuce and our croutons pretty generously. So the reason that we're going to use so much dressing is because we want our croutons to really soak up a lot of that dressing. A great panzanella salad, when you bite into the crouton, it's still kind of crunchy, but then kind of soft, and you get a lot of that dressing. So we're going to mix these. All right, so again, I'm going to taste my lettuce. Please do the same, because we haven't added any salt and pepper. I'm happy with that. I hope you guys are too. So here I have a salad plate, and I'm going to compose our salad. So I'm going to take a little bit of our green goddess dressing out of our blender, and I'm going to put a little bit right on the plate. Use the back of the spoon and just kind of spread it out.
These are Commander's Palace Executive Chef Meg Bickford secrets, you guys.
All right, then I'm going to take a nice big spoonful of my lettuce with my croutons. want to get a lot of these awesome croutons that Miss D made because they're super toasty and buttery, full of that dressing. All right, then we have our marinated tomatoes, cucumbers, and shallot, and that is going to go right on top of our lettuce. Kind of make a little nest in there. Spoon all of that awesome stuff right over the top.
That looks so good.
Thank you.
You are.
So definitely a favorite at my house during the summer is a good cucumber and tomato salad. So refreshing, so fantastic. Like I said, it's the beginning of Creole tomato season, and we're so thrilled about it. So we definitely wanted to highlight them and celebrate with this really nice pantanella salad with Creole tomatoes, cucumbers, and green goddess avocado dressing and focaccia croutons. So guys at home, I would love to see how your salads came out, and if anybody needs me to back up and do anything else. Got some good stuff. Good feedback. All right, so I hope everybody's ready. I hope everybody's ready to plate some Shrimp Creole. I hope you guys are hungry at this point. I'm starving, and it smells really good in here. So let's get to Shrimp Creole.
Cute.
All right. Ready?
So I hope everybody's following along, keeping up, having fun. As I mentioned in the chat, I don't know about your kitchen, but our kitchen smells amazing. We're hoping you guys are all caught up and the less crazy and more starting to ready to dig in and starting to really enjoy what you've been working on. I hope none of you dig in too soon because we would love to see you guys show off what you've done because I know the chef is really interested to see what you guys have happening at home. I see your salad tasting early. I like it. I love it. Megan's got a big smile on her face. I see a lot of people looking happy out there. That's a good sign.
All right, so we have our Shrimp Creole is done and our rice is done. So we should have some green onions and some parsley still left over in our box from our green goddess dressing. So that's how we're going to finish our Shrimp Creole sauce. So I want you guys to take those together. So we're going to take our stalks of green onions. I'm just going to take about 3 of those stalks. With a chef's knife, I'm just going to cut through the stalks into nice points. I'm going to do it on a bias cut. And just slowly chop through these green onions. And I am going to go all the way down at the bright green part, and then as the green onion gets whiter, I am going to use about half of that white green onion because I want that flavor. I think green onions are a fantastic way to finish the dish. I'm going to add our green onions right in.
What's that called?
It was just a bias slice, but you can cut them straight into like little coins or little rounds. All right, so we have our plate in our beautifully fragrant popcorn rice. I'm going to do a nice pile of rice right in the center of the plate. I would say probably about a half of a cup to 3/4 of a cup of rice per serving. I'm going to stir in my green onions again, being gentle because I don't want to lose all the heads off of my shrimp. And I'm going to start with sauce. I'm just going to slowly spoon sauce over my rice and into the bowl.
You pick on
And then on top of that, our beautiful Louisiana shrimp. I'm going to finish with a little bit of chopped parsley. And there you have it. So gang, I hope everybody's came out as well as ours did. I would love to see you guys post or show us what you guys created. I'd love to see some plates. Oh, there we go. Christy sounds like, woo! Love it. That's awesome.
I love her excitement. What about anybody else? Anybody else want to show off? Come on, Charles. Come on, Charles. I'm calling you out.
I'm so ashamed. We're still over here getting the stock ready. So
At their own pace. At the end of the night, it's all that comes out good, and you guys are enjoying the experience. Let's show guys.
yeah, I love this.
Again, let me take this opportunity to shout out him and his incredible crew over at Iberia Bank and First Horizon. I want to thank those guys because they did sponsor tonight's event. They've been partners and sponsors and supporters. We do a lot of our financial work with them, but they have been so much more. They come in and see Megan showing off her plate. I was about to show Megan. Oh, look at that. Very nice. Very nice. Sarah's got a plate. She's also got a little one. Christy's is great. Just appreciate everybody for logging on tonight. I mean, this came together through communion and opportunity for everybody really just taking part in the process. We have some great sponsors, as I mentioned. We have Iberia Bank and First Horizons. We also want to thank Top Box, obviously. Everything that came and got delivered to everyone was through the work organization for the most part, and the produce was through Top Box Foods. If you're not familiar with who they are and what they do, they help to get locally grown foods into those kitchens that need them most and try to make it affordable and also provide opportunities for our local farmers to have more opportunities and access to markets and restaurants and things of that nature. So we really enjoy partnering with them. They do a lot of great work and they work really closely with us. So we love the partnership. And obviously we have several restaurants around the city who are helping us with our young people. Again, we do a lot of the training here, but we all know that a lot of the real training also happens when they're away from us and in different jobs and different opportunities and spaces. So it helps to have great partners and great restaurants. This is Executive Chef. Where is she? Executive Chef Meg Bickford, who's here with us tonight from Commander's Palace, is also a partner of ours. And just we have so many incredible partners who are on the line and participated tonight. Again, I would be a terrible son if I also didn't say I love you, Mom. Thanks for being on tonight's call. I don't see you dish though, Mom. But I'm sure I'll get an opportunity to try it later. But again, yeah, we just want to thank everybody for coming out and being a part of tonight's event. This is our third one. We'll have another one next month as soon as we're able to collect ourselves and finish actually in here trying out what Chef Meg made. We'll start the process of getting the word out to you guys about anybody who wants to participate in the next event. We definitely want to have you for that one. And look to us in the future because we may be getting back to in-person guest chef nights coming very soon with the vaccinations and things of that nature. So we've got some exciting things on the horizon. Keep abreast of what we're doing and where we're doing it. And with that, I don't know, Chef D, you want to say anything? A birthday girl, to the microphone, please.
Am I in? Okay. I want to thank you all so much for supporting this event. This is all of our guest chef events are special, but this one is just so close to my heart. Obviously, I'm blessed to see 50 years old today, and also that I had a chance to work once again with an absolutely incredible chef, an amazing mentor, and just an overall great person and friend. Thank you, Meg, so much for coming. I'm not gonna cry. I'm not crying. She's crying. Our next guest chef event in June will be with Chef Arkisha with Little Dizzy's Cafe. I will confirm the date. I won't say it now because I don't remember it. But it is going to be happening next month. And right now I am so hungry and this food smells so good. I'm going to step off camera and get a fork. Okay.
With that, we also want to take this opportunity to remind ourselves why we're here to begin with. It's because we want to support our young people and give them opportunities. And I would be remiss if I didn't talk about, I've been mentioning Chef D and Chef Meg all night. They've been incredible mentors and leaders through the program and through externship and opportunities and whatnot. But again, we are here for young people. And tonight we have some incredible young people who helped make tonight's event possible. And I want to make sure that they get some screen time too. So we got this is Marion.
Marion, hi. Thank you all. Okay. Hopefully y'all see me on the next event.
And again, I want to mention Carter. Carter who came in tonight, man behind the scenes.
Thank you very much, Carter.
And my co-pilot this evening, who's helping me with, she's the pilot, I'm actually just the co. Come on in, Keela, who's helping manage most of the audio visual. She's taking photos all night, documenting everything for us, and she's managing a lot of our audio visual and technical stuff. What Liberty System has learned is that sometimes the young people can do it better than we can. So we need to make sure that we invest in them as much as possible. A lot of tonight wouldn't happen and wouldn't be necessary to happen if it weren't for them. And I want to thank them for being here this evening. We love you guys very much and we appreciate you for being here.
We thank y'all.
We also want to say thank you for everybody who came out to contribute tonight. Again, special thanks to our sponsors for the event, Iberia Bank and Horizon, and everybody who's been on the call before and has been on the call before. Thank you. If you enjoyed the experience, I know we had a little bit of a volume issue, but I hope we corrected that. But if you enjoyed the experience, hopefully tell your friends. We want to make sure that the next one we have next month is a big one for us because it's also helping to, again, support the program and support more young people like we did this evening. So with that being said, want to let you guys enjoy your food. We're going to enjoy our food here. And we hope everybody had a great night. Thank you so much again for being part of Guest Chef Night with Executive Chef, the first female to hold that position at Commander's Palace tonight. I want to thank her for being here. Thank you all.